Last week, billionaire venture capitalist Tom Perkins wrote this letter to the Wall Street Journal saying that the progressive war, his words, the progressive war on the American 1% is a demonization of the rich. And he compared it to Nazi Germany's Kristallnacht, saying, quote, Kristallnacht was unthinkable in 1930. It is its descendant progressive radicalism unthinkable now. And then Michelle Malkin jumps in and says, amen, amen, amen. Perkins barely scratched the surface in the war on wealth that has spread under the Obama regime. Wait a minute, a war on wealth. From 1932, I think, I'd have to go back and look year by year, but Herbert Hoover actually began reversing Warren Harding's tax policies. From the early 30s until the late 80s or the mid 80s, the top tax rate on rich people was well over 50%. George W. Bush got it down to 5% and did away with the estate tax altogether for a year. It's now at 20%, the top tax rate on people who make their money through carried interest deduction, through carried interest or capital gains, which is how most wealthy people, jigger things around to take most of their money. If you're in that income category, you can have a corporation that fronts for you, that pays you in stock options or dividends rather than ordinary income. And so you pay a maximum 20% income tax. Whereas working people, if even highly paid working people, a heart surgeon, a brain surgeon, somebody who might make actually $1 million a year, they're going to pay 39% income tax on it. Period. No way around it. I mean, there's things you can do to shelter your income, I suppose. You could put it in IRAs and stuff like that, but basically they pay 39%. But if you're a capitalist, if you make your, if you can, so anyhow, how can anybody say that there's a war on the wealthy when the wealthy are wealthier than they've been since 1929? That more income is going to the top 1% since 1929 than at any other time since 1929. And that the Supreme Court has given the wealthy the right to absolutely buy politicians in a way that was unthinkable in 1929. Or at least they didn't have the mechanism and the organization and the network and the structure and I'm sure there were some major players back then. But nothing like now. And there's a war on the rich? Michelle Malkin, the deadliest threats come from the men in power in Washington who stoke bottomless hatred against millionaires and billionaires through class-bashing rhetoric and entrepreneur-crushing policies, while they pocket the hard-earned money of the achievers trying to buy immunity. It's high time to shame the wealth shamers and their crowd enablers. Silence is complicity.